Okay. Hello, hello. I see some of you tuning in. Bear with me. For those of you joining a session for the first time, there's about a 20-second to a 1-minute delay from what is coming out of my mouth as opposed to what you may be seeing on your end. If you're joining me from somewhere other than the main Lifepro fitness page, I encourage you to go there if you would like to make a comment and have me discuss that on camera today. If you are in some of the private groups that I've shared, the comments do not come through to me on this end. So if you have a question for the end of this or you'd like to make a comment, be sure that you are in the Lifepro Fitness main public page. So I'm just going to share this to the group. And just a sec here. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So I see some of you are here with me now. If you are joining me, please let me know if you can see and hear me on the other end. And I will get rambling. I'm going to get into comments here. My beautiful daughter Deandra is joining me today.
Hello.
It's a little bit windy out today, so I thought I would do some talking and make her do the work today. So for those of you that are joining me, please, if somebody could just let me know if you see and hear me coming through fluently on the other end, and I'll get rambling here. New coffee mug. Blessed. Stressed, blessed, and coffee obsessed. For those that know me, you know me. Quite a few of you are here today. Thank you for joining me. Patty says yes. Dave says good to go. So does Patty. Okay, well, thank you. My apologies. Thank you, Bonnie. You can see and hear me as well. Awesome. I'm outside, and yesterday I had everything all ready to go, and some hailstorm came out of the heavens unexpectedly, so we were unable to do the live yesterday. So thank you for joining me today. The reason we are outside is I have both rebounders that Lifepro has just come out with. There's two models, just very briefly. This is the Pro model. It has a higher weight capacity than the light model. They virtually look the same. This one's got a green rim around the edges. This one has a protective cover on it, but it's blue. And today is about moving lymph. And I'm going to be the last person to tell you one is better than the other. When we move, lymph moves. So how you choose to move is very much a personal preference. It may be based on some medical conditions that you're dealing with and you're limited in the type of activities that you can do. So I just wanted to go over kind of some of the pros and the cons. Deandra's on the rebounder. Excuse me. You can do light jumping. You can walk in place. I am not going to pretend to be the rebounder expert. Before Lifepro was kind enough to allow me to demonstrate these, I had never been on an official rebounder before. I've spent lots of time on trampolines and things like that. But one of the reasons rebounders are an advantage perhaps over other activities is they are a lower impact. So they're considered a moderate impact as opposed to other activities that may be high impact or high intensity. I'm always curious about what Google and the AI world has to say. So I went into Google last night and said, what is the difference between a rebounder and a vibration plate? And that's not an uncommon question that we get in the group. And then the discussions go, and this is better, and that's better, and here's why. My big dogs are barking in the house in case you hear that in the background. But starting with a rebounder, the basic benefits of a rebounder is they are you can bounce, you can walk, you can do whatever feels comfy. We're outside because I have low ceilings in my basement, so that's why we're on the deck today. Deandra fits, but my 5'10" frame doesn't fit. So we're about 10 inches off the ground. The rebounder is I would say more cardio focused. So if you're trying to build cardio, a treadmill's not your thing. High intensity impact workouts are just not something your body can sustain, or maybe you just don't like that style. They are a good means of boosting cardio health. They're going to be great at building stamina, endurance, those types of things. And of course, they're going to build strength. If you are just bouncing like Deandra is, or maybe like a slight walk, maybe you're unable to jump at this point, or you're dealing with new knees or bad knees. So you can moderate how you use and how you move on the rebounder for the body you're working with. There's some pretty crazy videos out there on YouTube, and I'm sure Amber and Roseanne will have some exciting workouts on these things. But I mean, I've seen videos where people are like 5 feet above the rebounder and they're doing the splits. So to what degree you challenge the body to build that strength, that stamina is going to have a direct effect. This is also a weight bearing activity. So as I always say in my vibration plate sessions, it's not a setting, it's not a program, it's about consistently bearing your mass. So just by Deandra lightly walking, or if she's got the ability to jump and pick things up, maybe she's adding weights into her hands, we are improving bone strength. Bone strength, if you want to increase it, you need to stress the bones out. So the muscles and the bones are only going to be as strong as they are required to do the job that you're asking them to do. So if you're progressing and you're jumping higher like Deandra is, and the muscles and the bones have to work harder, they're going to respond by adapting and making the muscles and the bones strong to support the activity. So consistent use, progression is key. And if you are dealing with any deficiencies, like I say with my vibration plate sessions all the time, there's lots of ways that you can modify use. Moving on a rebounder is a very popular way to move lymph. This model in particular has a counter, so it's going to count your bounces. I think if you scroll through there, I've only really had about 5 minutes to play with this before we set it up outside of the rain yesterday. But there's a tracking mechanism built in there. There's a little string, a little spring that attaches to a sensor, and it counts how many times you're bouncing. So there's ways that you can keep track of it other than just time. As I said, it's considered a moderate impact workout. One of the disadvantages, because I'm going to cover disadvantages and advantages on both. One of the disadvantages of a rebounder is the reason I'm outside today is you do need some space to do the activity. Both of Lifepro's models are 40 inches across. So keep that in mind if you're considering this at home. I've installed a couple of hooks in my basement ceiling, so I actually hang them up and they're out of the way when I'm done. So think storage as well. And it depends on what you're dealing with. So one of I guess the biggest difference, if I'm comparing directly a vibration plate to a rebounder, and you can step over to the plate and just get it shaken a little bit more if you want. A vibration plate is also low impact, but it's less impact than the rebounder. So the rebounder is more amount or more intensity in your movement, whereas a vibration plate, you get more movement but less amount of it. So if you are dealing with troublesome joints, you've got chronic conditions, someone that is unable to stand and bear their own weight is going to be limited in what you can do on a rebounder. A vibration plate is going to cater to all the way down to those of you that may even be bedridden. There's a way that it can move your body even when you physically are unable to. So for a lot of my pediatric users that joined me from my cerebral palsy group, we're dealing with some paralysis. My older crowd is dealing with some neuropathy, and maybe standing or jumping isn't something you're ready for yet. On a vibration plate, you get lots of little movements in less time. So it's going to cater to things like fatigue, weakness, where you're in a very digressed state, and you can progress with the vibration plate, of course, into more dynamic workouts. One of the things that AI told me online, and I will have to disagree with, is that a rebounder is better for cardio than a vibration plate. I know I don't generally put cardio as the top benefit when I'm discussing vibration plates, but it absolutely can be a cardio workout. It depends on what you're doing. So, how would we improve cardio if we're getting to that point on a vibration plate? Deandra, can you do some slow moving squats? So you're squatting down, and by adding dynamic movement, some step ups, some arm weights. There's other things that you can apply to the vibration plate to make it more of a cardio workout. That's very much a personal choice, and just a matter of complementing the type of exercises that you're doing on it to progress towards the goals that you're trying to accomplish. One of the, I guess, the downsides of a vibration plate is, traditionally we and it's not even really a downside, but for those of you that are looking for a longer workout, you're used to like 30 minutes, 45 minutes in front of the TV or in front of the window on your rebounder. A lot of people are surprised that they don't necessarily need to spend as much time on their vibration plate. There's lots of questions. Well, can I do it like more than 15 minutes a day? Can I use it multiple times a day? You absolutely can. If you're just looking at moving lymph, which was sort of the premise of today's topic, you can move lymph in lots of ways. And one of the ways that I recommend is using it more often in shorter sessions throughout the course of the day. You could take that same approach with your rebounders. So maybe the endurance and the stamina isn't there, and you deal with fatigue or inflammation for some reason. 2 to 3 minutes a few times throughout the day to get that heart rate moving, get the blood and the lymph pumping, is the same approach I would take if you're looking at using a rebounder or a vibration plate for lymph. If I was looking at also gaining strength, you want to make sure that you're building towards exercises. Deandra, let's do a little squat and hold still. So you can still do fitness type positions on a vibration plate, but maybe the movement, the cardio piece, is something we need to work towards. So one is not better than the other. And to sort of wrap up the combo part here, yes, you can combination work out these things. That didn't come out right. You can combine these to make a workout. Why would you want to combine them? I mean, if you're just looking at something to move lymph, it's kind of a preference in which way you'd like to do that. But many of my users and many of the members here use lots of different tools. It's never about one thing. And if you're diligent and you're consistent and you're progressing, sometimes having one thing gets a little bit boring. Deandra, if you're getting bored and you want to jump back to the rebounder, you certainly could. Or if you've had enough shaking and jumping, you can just let mommy know too. But maybe you're doing a bit of cardio on the rebounder, and then you're jumping over to the vibration plate. One of the advantages I think that a vibration plate brings to the equation for those of you that are diehard rebounders, or you like your time on your treadmill, or there's other things that you're doing, the one advantage that a vibration plate I would say has over outside of less space, you do have to commit less space than what you may with a rebounder as a comparison, but the recovery aspects, a vibration plate has so many ways that it can boost recovery and healing. That would be one of the advantages that I would say it offers over a rebounder. But when it comes to moving lymph, it really is a preference. And I encourage you, I'm always talking about experimenting and trying new things. And I really think diversity in ways that you move your body and exercise is really important. It can get very boring. Sometimes you like that half hour, 35-minute or 45-minute workout, and maybe you're going to spend more time on your rebounder or your treadmill or whatever your means are. A vibration plate done properly in the way that vibration plates are supposed to be done, if you're doing exercise positions, if you're challenging yourself, you should fatigue quickly. So, for some people that's a disadvantage because mentally you like that time, you like to escape. But if you prefer a longer workout, certainly there's ways on a vibration plate. You can take out some of the intensity. Maybe you're doing 5-10 minutes as a warm up, then you're doing some time as the workout, and then you can spend a little bit more time doing recovery. So for those of you that ask me the time questions and how often and how long on vibration plates, it really depends on why you're wanting to use it. So some recovery and a little bit of moving lymph may look very different than some of the things you may want to do to accelerate weight loss, and toning as an example. So I hope that makes sense. What I'd like to do, because I know there's many of you here, I would like to see what questions you may have. Like I say, I'm kind of an idiot when it comes to certain types of exercise equipment because I'm such a vibration plate junkie. One of the features I thought was so cute with the new Rebounders, cute maybe isn't the right word, but practical, common sense. On the side of it, there's a little cup holder. And I ran into the house and I got my fancy little water bottle and I was going to mount it, but I mounted the water bottle holder upside down. So I'll have to fix that once we get off camera. But I just, sometimes in the hurry of my assembly, things get missed. So I've been playing with the light probably about a month and a half now. And I just assembled the Pro model today. Again, they do have different weight capacities. Weight capacity, whether it's a rebounder or a vibration plate, isn't always necessarily about how much you weigh. That's certainly part of it. But if you do incorporate ankle weights, hand weights, dumbbells, these types of things into some of your exercises, you want to make sure that you're accounting for that as well. So if I'm 200 pounds and the machine can take 250 pounds, you've got about another 50 pounds to play with. It's not that in the sand. And for those of you looking at weight capacity because of budget, keep in mind a lot of weight capacity really, especially on a vibration plate and a rebounder, depends on the activity that you're doing on it. Are you jumping up and down vigorously, or are you just walking lightly? Are you standing and doing mean squats and push-ups all the time, or are you just using the plate in a seated position and a little bit of standing to move you? So weight capacity, in my experience in 20 years of supporting every kind of vibration plate you can imagine out there, I've never had a machine fail because I've put too much mass on it. And I spend a lot of time with my pediatric or my geriatric users that lack mobility but are able to stand. There's a lot of times I'm standing on the machine with them, hanging on to them. So I know I'm blowing it out of the water with my weight capacity, but it really does depend directly what you're doing to it. So please don't make that the only reason you decide one way or the other. If you're on the borderline with your own weight or the things that you want to look at combining, please reach out to Lifepro and have that discussion. But that's the reason there's two different ones is some of you may want or need a higher weight capacity. So who have I got here? I have got Sabrina. It says, don't argue with those public servants. You are not the police. I'm not sure what that relates to and what may have come out of my mouth here, but please offer me some clarity on there. I'm not sure what you meant by that, Sabrina. I hope I didn't say something that you misunderstood. Please let me know what you meant by that. Judy says, I have this rebounder I enjoy. Oh, good for you. Which one do you have, Judy? Did you get the Pro or did you get the regular one? Let me know. I enjoy doing a rebounder workout and then using the vibration plate to recover. Lots of YouTube channels with rebound workouts. I'll have to look some of those up. But, I've played around with a mini trampoline, and who knew? You can see some of these classes and it's fun. A lot of people say that about the vibration plate and it's fun. I've got a bad knee. That's how I got into this years and years ago. And I seek things out that are moderate or lower activities. So I will admit I was probably screwing around on this a little bit more today than I should have. But to my surprise, my knee isn't bugging me. So I can walk around the block 2 times and my knee's bugging me for a day after. So thank you for that feedback, Judy. I think, you got the Pro model. So you've got lots of room to play. I deal with some groups. It is Lipedema Awareness Month. So part of the reason I'm doing a session on lymph today and moving lymph is because it's a big deal in that world. Stagnant lymph is bad things. And for those of you that are dealing with lymphatic issues, I want to stress, whether you're using a rebounder, whether you're using a vibration plate, whether you're walking around your kitchen dining room table, it doesn't matter. When you move, lymph moves, and that's really I hope simplifies things for you. Sometimes we get so much advice coming at us from online, and I do it this way and I do it that way. It's hard to apply it to ourselves, especially if you've got a recent diagnosis or you've had a setback in your health. So just keep moving, however or how little you can, keep moving. So whether a vibration plate or a rebounder is more up your alley, as I said, it's very much a personal choice thing. Long term, I recommend combining lots of different tools. I know many of you have different Lifepro tools. And I think for the first time in a long time as the vibration plate chick, I know many of my group are using rebounders. So I was really overjoyed when Joel and the Lifepro team decided to launch a rebounder, because many of you have been asking for it. And now I'm obligated for my members to spend some time on it, and I can relate to your experience personally even more. So I was really excited to get these in and be able to broaden my skill set and test it out on myself with my issues. Dave says, I use a rebounder and a hypervibe machine. Any comments on sciatica? Say a lunge using the plates. You know what? I actually have a couple of moves for sciatica. If you have any stretches or you have any things that you're supposed to be doing for the sciatica, it's not uncommon to see things like calf stretches, calf raises, giving, some relief to those areas that are affected. Some people, if it's very, very, very severe, Dave, sometimes it's just a matter of sitting in a stool and getting the muscles in the plantar muscle in the foot itself. A pool noodle is a really good add-on, so you can wedge into that area in the arch of the foot and target that area specifically. I do not have a bar stool out here, but give me 2 minutes and I'm going to go get one up off the deck so I can show you the sciatic stretch. 1 sec. Okay. It's not ideal, but you need to see me sideways. So if you go onto the internet, and I've posted this, if you go into the group and search Debby with a Y, sciatic, I've probably posted this. I actually do have a short video. I will repost that for anybody looking on the recorded basis. But since you're here, Dave, I'm going to show you my move. So there's 2 things I do for sciatic. You can do this seated in a chair, or you can use a stool, a little bit higher stool, seated on your vibration plate. The goal is to always get the legs in a good 90-degree angle. And we're going to do the sciatic side first, but you should do both sides. So because this is the camera side, 2 parts to this move. You're going to extend this foot. Doesn't matter how high, but you're going to try and get it as straight as you can and pull that toe towards you. While you're doing that, nice straight spine, no big slouchy mochi, good core, engage, good posture, and look up at like a 45-degree angle. So we're going like this, and we're going to raise, hold, 2, 3, maybe 4 seconds, and then do the same on the other. And it's going to loosen up that channel, how it goes down the leg. So this is called, if you Google on the internet, I shouldn't say Google and keep giving them credit. If you search on the internet, it's called the nerve floss. There's a couple chiros and physios out there I follow, and they refer to this as the nerve floss. So this is what I would do if it's really severe, you're unable to stand, and you're just trying to get in the car to go see your therapist or your chiropractor. This is a good one to do. My chiropractor showed me a different one. So I don't know what it's called. I call it the figure 4. And if you don't have the range of motion, please do not try this one. But you want to take one leg. You're going to cross it across your lap, not your ankle all bunched up. You want it kind of resting on the bottom of the calf, the bottom part of your calf, and the foot itself can move freely. If this is too hard, lower the leg it's resting on a little bit. So just getting into this position, I'm sure you're feeling it already. Again, make sure the core is nice and straight. I want you, if you feel a little bit, but you would like to stretch it a bit further, what you're going to do is slowly push the chest forward. So We're not looking like this. We're nice and straight, and we're pushing the chest like somebody, like you're a puppet. Somebody's got a string on your collarbone, and they're pulling you forward. And you'll feel the stretch on the underside of that hamstring and the outer thigh. Take your hand while you're doing this. So I've leaned forward. Now take that hand, and if you can tolerate, just push down on that knee a little bit, and it gets a little deeper into the hip, and that, oh, I feel it right there. And then do the other side, okay? You can also do this one lying down in bed. I can't do it on the deck here, but you lay down and you pull your leg towards you while you're laying down. But this would be the first one to try. Maybe you're doing a couple reps of this to loosen things up before you attempt this one. But those are my two go-tos. I get intermittent sciatic issues on this side because this is my bad knee. And even though it's really, it's arthritic and grumpy, structurally, I don't have the issues I used to. But my whole life, my body has done this. So I always shift. It's all that compensation off the knee that creates those sciatic issues. So for me, I'm mindful. When I'm on my plate doing my workout, I've got a mirror on the wall in front of me so I can keep an eye on whether I'm shifting my weight and my body's trying to cheat. So I hope those give you a little insight. And like I say, with something like sciatic, don't leave it till it's so bad. And Debbie answers your question. Try some of those as you feel the tension coming. You might need to do that 3 or 4 times a day to really start working things out. But those are the two I love. The nerve floss, if you want to look that one up, and the little figure 4 stretch that I just did, really depending on how severe the pain is and what your range of motion looks like. I hope that helped, Dave. And I will post my little short how you do that video in the comments after I get off the live here. So who else do I have here? Handlebar too. I do like the handlebar. I leaned on it a little too much today in my showing off, trying to look like some of these YouTube videos. I need to work on my flexibility, and that's supposed to be one of the benefits of moving more regularly. When you move, lymph moves, but the flexibility and the stiffness doesn't set in as much either. Great, Dave says. I'm glad that made sense. And Dave, get back to me and let me know if either of those gave you relief. It's hard sometimes on a live and sometimes even on a post because I don't know specifically how it's affecting you. And even though sciatic is kind of a general thing a lot of people deal with, we're each dealing with different bodies when it presents. And, there may be other things that you're dealing with that I'm unaware of. So if you need a little bit more navigation and it didn't quite work, please just message me back in this thread and we'll try maybe some other things. What I should mention, if you're doing it on your vibration plate, speed aside, you're dealing with a different brand where it's the actual hertz. I want you making sure you're using minimal amplitude. So feet are close to the center in oscillating movement. It's rarely the speed that ever causes issues. It's putting your feet too wide, especially when you're dealing with pain, these type of chronic issues. Bring the foot that's on the machine almost dead center, or put your feet dead center, and then see what you can tolerate. It's usually, if you're dealing with pain and your feet are too wide, we tend to guard and protect and resist and aggravate the situation versus, allow the muscles to accept the movement and gain relief. I hope that makes sense. Dave said, who else is here? So I want to make sure I said hello to everybody. Hello, Patty. Let me know where you guys are joining me from as well. I always assume everyone's in the States, but I know it's later in the day. So sometimes my folks from Australia and New Zealand join, and I know this was a topic of interest for many in my groups. So I shared it. So yeah, Bonnie is here. Thank you. Deb says, I didn't see you were here, Deb. Hello. She says that she can see and hear me. Kathy is here. She can hear and see me fine from Michigan, one of the U.S. states I've actually had the good fortune to visit. I was at Google's corporate offices a number of years ago demonstrating vibration plates. Sabrina says, don't argue with those public servants. They are not the police. I really would like to know what you meant by that, and I really hope I didn't say something that set off a chord there. But let me know, Sabrina, if I've got to clarify something that came out of my mouth. Certainly wouldn't be the first time. Deb is from Sherwood Park, Alberta. I'm in Didsbury. So cool that you're here. Didsbury is about a 2.5 hour drive about 15 Tim Hortons south of where you're at. Bonnie is in Willsboro, North Carolina. Probably pretty warm there today. Caddy is from Pennsylvania. I know it looks beautiful and sunny in my yard. It's mid June and hard to believe that summer just kind of kicked in here a couple of weeks ago. But yes, we have a much shorter season, so I just love it when I can pull these things out on my deck and Mother Nature decides to cooperate. And I do apologize for me squinting profusely in the sun. I can barely see my screen. I'm showing my numbers and my age today. Dave is from Calgary. Hello, Dave. I knew that I knew that name. So Dave's about an hour south of where I'm located today. For the rest of you that may be watching this on a recorded basis after the fact, because I'm sure some of you are having dinner and such things. If you ever have questions about today's sessions or other sessions, always tag me at Debby with a Y in the comments. That way I'll get a notification. If it's just a like or you just make a comment without tagging me, sometimes the sheer volume of comments and messages I get from elsewhere in a day, Facebook doesn't notify me on everything all the time, I'm noticing. So make sure if you've got something you'd specifically like me to answer or just something that you need some help on, tag me at Debby with a Y. My profile comes up very quickly. And that way I hate it when I go back through sometimes and see that you've asked me a question, but I wasn't actually tagged, and I don't want you thinking that I blew you off or ignored you. So please, I'm happy to deal with those comments. Hello, Liza. Nice to see you. She is joining us from Ohio. Ohio. Have I been to Ohio? I think I have passed through the Chicago airport. That's about as close as Ohio I have gotten, but I certainly do have a lot of admirers down there that follow my nagging and how to use these plates. So thank you for joining me today. I hope today offered a little bit of insight. I know it seems common sense, vibration plate, rebounder. A lot of people, I see these discussions in the group about, well, a vibration plate's better, or a lymph is better, or a rebounder's better, or a treadmill's better. I don't think anything is the best for every scenario. And this is where sometimes variety and have a couple of different pieces of equipment is just, sometimes you change and sometimes you progress and you want to do different things. So there is a big complement between these two. Like I say, as was mentioned here in the comments, many of my members use both. Some days you have good days and some days you have bad days, and they can be used for different things. And as I said, maybe you're a workout guru now and, a vibration plate just isn't your means of exercise. It certainly is very popular with a lot of my elite athletes, my professional athletes, for the recovery and warm-up capacities. So again, one is not better than the other. There's a lot of common benefits between the two. But if I had to narrow down the big differences, a rebounder is low to moderate impact. A vibration plate is considered low impact, and you can reduce it by bringing your feet closer if need be. A rebounder from a true cardio or workout perspective may take a little bit longer, and some of you that's a good thing. So that's the reason I mentioned that kind of on both sides of it. A vibration plate, in my opinion, is a little bit better suited if you are dealing with below baseline chronic issues. You lack the ability to move yourself. There's just a wider spectrum of users that can tolerate it. But one of the other advantages I actually didn't mention, you can more directly target other body parts. So you can certainly do crunches and push-ups and all kinds of different things on a rebounder. But a vibration plate is going to get you to fatigue faster in those similar positions. And that's going to be an advantage for those of you with troublesome joints, inflammation, the arthritis, hypermobility, those types of things. And if you're looking or considering either a vibration plate or the new rebounders, Joe's got some pretty hot deals right now direct with Lifepro in the US. So make sure you go to lifeprofitness.com. I will drop a link after so you don't have to dig that out. And I believe the Pro, as of this morning, was 30% off. The Light was, I think, 24% off. So there's some pretty healthy discounts. Don't wait. A lot of times with new products, they are gone by the time you've made the decision. So if you've been looking at a rebounder specifically for a long time and you're going to go with Lifepro, get in there and jump on the deals. There's also some awesome deals up to 30% off for vibration plates and light therapies and you name it. There's some really good deals on right now. So take a look at lifeprofitness.com. And if you are purchasing any new items, make sure that you guys register your lifetime warranty on any products that you get. There's a little card that comes in your box, so you've got 7 days to get that registered. For those of you there that are looking for a free gift, there was a promotion going on, and I think there's another one up for grabs right now as well. Part of registering your warranty is getting your free gift, so make sure that you get that registered for those 2 reasons. If there's no more questions, what am I looking at here? Deb, it is in the US site. The Rebounders are not yet available in Canada. You can pay extra shipping at any time. Unfortunately, it's what the tax man does, getting them across the border into Canada, that kills you. So I would suggest waiting. I haven't been told yet that they will be available on Amazon, but it's not uncommon that within about 2 to 3 months of something launching in the US, the sauna blankets were an example of that. Many of the vibration plates are available, but they're not available on Amazon Canada or Amazon in the UK, Europe sites just yet. So stay tuned. I don't know. You'd have to do the math and drop it in the shopping cart and see what the difference is on the shipping and the customs to see if the discount makes it worthwhile. If it doesn't, because it is kind of a bigger item, I can show you the box. I'll show you the box. So not massive, but just to give you an idea, that's what would be coming up across the border. So this came from New York. It wasn't in any pre-protective packaging, and it's complete. I mean, it's a little sun faded because I had it out on the deck today, but it made it here absolutely no problem. Sometimes I've ordered other things not from Lifepro, and they didn't even make it across the border. I think my camera is not liking my light options. Are you seeing me here? Anyways, I think the restream is wreaking havoc on my sun here. I should have more sun, but you don't see me. So I'm going to leave it at that, you guys. So Deb, yes, the prices there are USD. Keep an eye on Amazon here in Canada because you might find them launching at some point. Thank you, Lisa. I love Lifepro too. Otherwise, I wouldn't be putting my face on their camera every week. I'm very grateful for the experience. It's taken me out of my comfort zone of vibration plates, and the diversity in care tools that they bring to you is really just second to none. If you are not a member, join the VIP group. It's that community that's been there, done that. Many of them have the same goals as you and are looking at and using these products now. Thank you for joining me, guys. I'm going to cut this short because the camera's just not cooperating in picking up my light, even though I'm here in the sunshine right now. Have a great rest of the day. Again, if you have questions after the fact or your question did not come through on my end, tag me at Debby with a Y, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys next time.